Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Anything Bucket on WRPBI TV. Tonight in our studio, I have a young lady that's going to help us get in tune with who we are and find our purpose through a new, innovative way, utilizing your hands to find the gateway to your soul and to find your soul purpose. Please welcome Mary Halima Fleming to the Anything Bucket. Mary, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I'm very excited that you're here, and I was really excited about the idea of the one soul purpose and how that all came about. Tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the work that you do, because it is very intriguing what you do.
Yes, it is kind of a one of a kind, but my search started when I was about 3 years old. I came into the world asking, what am I doing here? Why am I here? What's my purpose? And nobody had an answer. So it became a lifelong search, and it was not until about 14 years ago that I found the Hand Analysis Institute and also a spiritual healing school, and I got my hands read and found my purpose, which is to help other people to know their purpose.
And that's amazing. You know, you were talking about that, and I immediately thought of Guy Finley's book, you know, The Seeker, The Search, The Sacred. And okay. We're all here on the earth trying to find our purpose, and a lot of times we'll get caught up with a talent that we have. And somebody will say, well, you should be doing this, and you should be doing this, and you should do this. And we start listening to everybody else instead of getting in tune with our own divinity and finding what we are meant to do. And I know that's something that you do with your clients. If you could walk us through real quick, I know before the show you read my fingerprints, and we'll get to those results in a little while.
Yeah.
But walk us through the process a little bit of how you do what you do.
Okay, well, this is really 21st century technology. The days of the Madame Zenobia at the Atlantic City Boardwalk are over. So this is not a predictive type of psychic reading or anything, but this is really scientific technology. And what we found out, and medical research knows, is that our fingerprints are fully formed in utero at 16 weeks. So 5 months before we're even born, we're encoded in our fingerprints our life purpose, our life lessons, and what we're doing here in Earth University School for Souls. So we're all here going to school, right? Some of us are in first grade, some of us are in high school, but
we're all on a path. We're all on a path, as they say, and some of us are farther along that path than others. There are certain enlightened beings that are out there, like yourself, who you're helping other people to get enlightened. And that's what's amazing, because the whole idea of knowing what you wanted to do, like you said, at age 3, and then searching and finding. I always tell the stories when I write my blog entries. As the viewers know, I have a spiritual blog, www.the, and there's a hyphen, spiritualawakening.com. And I'm always amazed when I'm looking for songs and music to fit into the topic, and I go on YouTube, and the universe kind of conspires to put it in my face and say, what is it? And I'm like, wow, this is the perfect song for what I'm writing about today, or this is the perfect meditation for my readers. So I'm always amazed. If you could share any experience like that you've had with yourself or your clients, where those messages have come through so strong that that person just snapped their fingers and all of a sudden shifted and started following their purpose. Right.
Well, that's what I like so much about this work, because it was such a pain wound for me for so many years to know. And the seeker and the sought is always one. And what people tell me is, and I've helped so many people because I also not only help them know their purpose, but to live it. So we also do coaching and spiritual healing. So, but when anyone is in alignment with who they really are, then the whole universe conspires to support that. And we're always at one. We have to get out of our brain. Our brain knows nothing. That's basically it. We in the Western world has been taught to use the brain as a guidance system. But, you know, we are encoded for success in our soul and in our heart. And it's our heart that knows the wisdom. And as long as we're following with that, which I'm sure you are when you get those songs and you're in synchronicity, that's when you know you're on the path, you're in the flow, and you're on your right track. And I can see that in your hands. You are on your path, and not everybody is.
And, you know, it's amazing, because I guess growing up, and my viewers know, my mom passed away back in July of 2012 due to a massive heart attack after battling non-operable metastatic lung cancer. But in the years of me growing up and coming in tune with who I was, and my mom finally embraced her spirituality, and she became a phenomenal artist and everything. And I said to her, your purpose is to bring that art out to people. And my mom let her humanistic side get in the way a lot of times. What will they think? Oh, they won't like it. I'm not good enough. Constantly comparing ourselves to others. And that's something I tell everybody, don't do that. So do you have any tips to alleviate that comparison when people say, oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm not like that person. Oh, that person's been doing this for 20 years and I've only been doing this for 4 months. How am I ever going to be like that person?
Right, interesting. Well, that's listening to your brain, and as you know, don't believe everything you think. But the hands also, besides encoding your life purpose, it encodes a life lesson or lessons. So we come here to express our life purpose, but we also come to learn life lessons. And what you're describing is a very common life lesson, to not compare ourselves to others, to not look left or right. And it reminds me of somebody that I read in Palm Beach, and very successful man, and by all outer and inner standards, happy family, happy business, happy money, beautiful home on the beach. And he had that life lesson. You know, it's called comparing yourself to others and not valuing who you are and listening to others. And so I said, you know, you look like you have everything. I would think you're happy. He says, oh no. He says, see that guy down there? He's worth $500 million. See that guy down there? He's a billionaire. I'm only worth $50 million. So, you know, what we do to ourselves, do you know what I mean? So that's a particular life lesson that somebody has to learn to really value themselves.
And that's been the hardest lesson for me, is putting a value on what I do, be it the announcing, be it the TV, the voiceovers, the marketing consultations, the writing of media releases and all that. And I find myself now putting myself at a high value. And somebody will tell me, well, I can't afford that. And I used to then say, oh, I'll negotiate with you.
Right.
Now I've stopped doing that, because I know if I don't put that value on me, no one else will.
Right.
So what is a technique you could give the viewers to put a good value on themselves?
Well, first of all, before I tell you that one, we're just describing the value lesson, and is one of your life lessons. So your life lesson was to learn that. So a life lesson well learned becomes a gift. So that's great. You're learning your lesson. You know, that's great. But in order to value ourselves, what I usually do is work with people where we meditate, and we really ask God, Spirit, the divine, to tell us what to charge. Because God's the healer, God's the reader, God's the writer, God's the teacher, and it's really our divine self. And so 99% of the time, the divine God, Spirit, all that is, would have us charge more than we could charge ourselves.
Most definitely. And I'm very but excited to get the results of what my fingers and hands told you.
Okay, well, I'd love to talk about your soul. So again, our fingerprints are a map of our soul. It's the deeper part of ourselves, more than a career. But interestingly enough, your fingerprints encode 3 different things we'll talk about. But the first one is in Earth University School for Souls, we're assigned a curriculum. And so the professors show up whether we like it or not to make us, learn the easy way or the hard way. And in Earth University, you've been assigned the soul agenda called self-service. So you're really here to learn that it's not selfish, it's okay to put yourself first. And it's also, you're here to learn to give from your abundance and not from yourself or from your ego, to really give from the divine. So no surprise you're in a spiritual awakening, thespiritualawakening.com, right? So that's a really long topic I really can't get into, but I'd love to share with you your life purpose. Your life purpose, should you choose to accept it, has to do, and you're very similar, you're the same archetype as John Kennedy. Not that you're here to be president of the United States, but...
Don't want that job.
Yeah, but what your gift is the same gift that he had. He was a writer, and his life purpose was to inspire the masses. So, I just got chills. So that's a confirmation. So when he said go to the moon, people went to the moon, and he was able to, through his speaking and through his writing, really inspire people. He wrote Profiles in Courage, and he was just an exquisite speaker. So this is the gift. This is the gift that you came into the world with, and congratulations that you're doing it.
Excellent,
You know,
and
so.
it's amazing when you put those talents. And I tell everybody this story. Believe it or not, I've never taken a communications class in my life. I visited one once, and here I am with a TV show. And I used to have a radio show, and I do the announcing and the voiceovers. So I think a lot of it is getting in tune with the God's given talents and utilizing those talents properly. And that can be a whole discussion for a whole nother time. And we'll definitely have to have Mary come back on and tell us a little bit more about what she does. But more importantly, how can my viewers get in contact with you so that they can find their soul's purpose?
Well, there's two ways. One is I have an office in Hallandale Beach at a healing center, and I also read hands all around the world. So if they visit me at soul, S-O-U-L, purpose.com, you can either make an appointment in person, or if you live anywhere in the world, I've read people in India, I send an ink kit, a hand analysis kit, and they make ink prints, and then I can read from that.
I noticed you brought one of those ink prints with you. I think it was a palm print of somebody that you had read. I thought it was right on the top here.
Oh, you're good.
There it is.
There we go.
So, very easy to do. That's onesoulpurpose.com. Find the meaning in your life, get in tune with your inner divinity, and remember to always stay positive.